Welcome to Friday Friends, RI Elder Info's weekly look at the organizations and individuals providing resources for Rhode Island seniors, caregivers, and professionals.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Friday Friends. I am Deb Burton, the founder and creator of RI Elder Info and rielderinfo.com, the most comprehensive multilingual resource for seniors, caregivers, and professionals. Today, we're going to talk about some really fun stuff. So I hope you hit the share button and the like button so lots of people hear this because we're going to have fun today. Not that we don't have fun every Friday, because of course we do. I enjoy coming out and talking to you guys every week. It really is a highlight of my week. As I've said before, I'll say again, we are a 501c3, so we are dependent on our sponsors and our donors. If you find what we're doing is really cool and you want to support what we're doing, feel free to hit the donate button. In the meantime, I have to give a big shout out to Oak Street Health. They've got locations across the state. They provide primary care, really comprehensive primary care for individuals on Medicare. And one of the challenges that a lot of folks have that Oak Street solves is they provide the transportation to the doctor's office. So you can do one-stop shop at the doctor's and they give you a ride for free. They're located in the Christmas Tree Plaza over in Warwick, by the old St. Joe's in Providence, by the McDonald's on Branch Ave in Providence, and then up by the Planet Fitness in Woonsocket, by Rhode Island directions. So check out Oak Street Health. They're fabulous. Also, have to give a big shout out to United Healthcare. It is open enrollment. United Healthcare provides some really amazing coverage for individuals on Medicare. You can always give my friend Jen Barrows a call over there to have your questions answered about Medicare. And then there's Tamarisk Assisted Living. It's a cute little assisted living facility that is really a home-like environment. They're located over by the mall, so easy on and off the highway. And you would talk to my friend Susan or Sean, and they will love on your family member just like their own family member. It's a great little place. And I have to say, the magic that is making this come is because of D&B Media and Ben Barber working behind the scenes here. And when you visited rielderinfo.com, which is an award-winning website, by the way, that is because of the magic of England Studio. They are award-winning web design team over in North Kingstown, but they can design a web anywhere in the world for you if you wanted. So super grateful to those folks. And also just wanted to give a quick shout that next Thursday, where you're seeing me here now, right here on Facebook, I am doing the second annual virtual senior resource fair. You don't want to miss this, okay? We're going to have experts from Medicare talking about Medicare in 2022, what is going on with the Social Security raise that's coming. How do you apply for Medicaid here in the state? Like, what are the guidelines? What are the paperwork that you need? And I'm sure some folks had the fabulous experience of losing the power earlier this week. So I'm going to be speaking with Armin Randolph from the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency to see, what do you need to do to prepare for an emergency? So the next time everything kind of goes blank, you're prepared. Annie Murphy from the Alzheimer's Association, she's going to be joining us talking about, what are the signs and symptoms. And Bob Robillard, he is the director of the Senior Center Association. Let me tell you, the senior centers really rocked it out during COVID. So really looking forward to talking to Bob. And that virtual senior resource fair is also being brought to you because of our sponsors, and that's the Commonwealth Care Alliance, that's CareLink, that's Oak Street Health again, it's Rhode Island Parent Information Network, Wingate Residence on Blackstone, and O'Hara Senior Care. But what's really important is you're going to get information that you really need, and these experts are going to answer your questions. So make sure next Thursday, put it on your calendar, 9 to 11, tune in right here. But for now, we are going to have a blast. I hope you've hit the like and the share button because we're going to have fun. I would like to bring up Dave Cousins with Guitars for Vets.
Hi, how you
Hey,
doing?
hi Dave. How are you?
I'm good. Just strumming away.
Very good.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. And tell everybody, what is Guitars for Vets?
Well, Guitars for Vets is a national organization. It's a nonprofit organization whose goal is to try to help veterans who are suffering from PTSD or adjustment issues, and doing that through the use of music. Music as a healing mechanism. The organization started in 2008. It was a guitar teacher and his student who was a Vietnam vet. And the vet said to the teacher, you know, when I'm playing this acoustic guitar, it kind of just lets me get out of my head. And, all the stress kind of drops away. And this is a great thing. And I got a lot of buddies who have problems like I do. And, push came to shove, they started in Milwaukee. And currently we have 115 active chapters around the country. And we've graduated over 4,900 students.
Wow, that is a lot of students. Started in Milwaukee, I believe home of Harley Davidson. You know,
Yeah.
it's what is it about
And Prince,
music?
I believe, right?
Yes, exactly. A lot of good things come out of Milwaukee. And I
Yeah,
think oh my God, Laverne and Shirley too.
that's right. Yeah. Hot and Pepper Incorporated.
Exactly. Yes. So, what is it about the music that is helpful to the veterans?
Well, anybody who plays music has probably experienced this. That the act of playing music, especially in an acoustic instrument, which really is, guitar is a very intimate instrument. You kind of wrap yourself around it, and it's vibrating with you. Um, there's a way of looking at it in terms of psychology and whatnot, but from an emotional point of view, music is a very emotional thing, and when you're playing music, you basically can sort of close your eyes and get lost in the whole process of making it. And it can be something as simple as a three-chord song, or a song that strikes a memory that's a positive memory. And it can really be used kind of as what we call it, um, a self applied form of therapy. And so this is something that most musicians that I know, most people who play, um, just like it's an unspoken thing that we know and we share. And one of the best things is when you're playing with other people and you sort of get into a mode where what you've created is larger than the sum of the parts, right? And so I think the Grateful Dead used to call it the X factor, when they became something special. And then, if you were lucky, you had a tape recording of it and you could experience it with them. So this is really what we want to bring out as musicians, to kind of share with this. And I'll be honest with you, I'll have a student who, every now and then they'll come to me and they say, Dave, the other day I was playing over the weekend, I was practicing, and I looked up and an hour and a half had gone by and I didn't realize it. And the way they described it was, it was just, hey, I was able to get out of my head. And if you think about it, that's really, what you want to be able to do, just to get away from some of the stresses of the day. We started locally in 2018. I started the Providence chapter. There was nothing in New England other than a chapter in Brockton, and then there was one way up in southern Maine. And basically, I had gotten to a point in my life where I was looking for some volunteer work to do and to give back. And I'm not a vet, but I have worked all my life in high-tech R&D for Defense Department type organizations. And over the course of the years, I've worked with basically active duty or reservists from every branch of the service.
Organizations.
Oh, I have a little echo there. And then the I have to resync now.
That's okay.
Over the course of my career, I've spent a lot of time with special forces people and whatnot, and working closely in like battlefield simulation environments, where we would evaluate technology that we would be building for defense of our troops. And I learned a huge amount from them. And I working very closely. Once you get accepted by that cadre of people, you feel like you've done something really important. And I wanted to give back. I wanted to give back for that feeling. And I've always been a musician. I've been playing guitar since I've been 13. Never made any real money at it, but that's okay. My day job's pretty good. And so I looked around and I found Guitars for Vets, and I thought this was a great confluence of two things that I wanted to do. And I noticed there was nothing local. I basically got in contact with the folks in Brockton, and I shadowed them for 3 or 4 lessons and to see if I would like it. And I really did. I thought it was a great thing. It took a good 6 months to navigate the puzzle palace that is the Veterans Association, to find the right place to start it up locally. And we did. And we run out of the Warwick Veterans Center, which is a really fabulous place with some really fantastic people. We are their most popular program, as they like to tell me. And we have graduated 20 vets out of that program. There's myself, and I have 4 teachers. And we work with Paul Santilli, who is our coordinator.
Paul is awesome. Paul has been on the show before.
Shout out to Paul.
Yes.
He cleans up really well, so he must have done a good job with you.
He did. And shout out to now Justin, who is the new Paul over there.
Justin is the new Paul, yes. And to Rochelle Fortin, who is the director, is one of the most generous people with her time that I know. And I want to basically tell everybody out there, if you are a veteran, for any reason at all, you want a good ear to bend, these guys are there. They're there for you, and they're just really I just have to tell you, I get chills when I talk about working with them, because when you work with people that are giving and caring and really, really care about what they do, it rubs off on everything. And so it's a wonderful place. We have a great area to work with. I can tell you stories about other chapters where they basically are working out of closets, in a hospital somewhere, But no, so we're very lucky from that point of view.
So are classes held right at the vet center?
Yes, we do them mostly in the evening, and the way the classes are structured is when somebody comes in and they hear about us. We basically send them to Paul, and Paul puts them on the waiting list. We have a waiting list. There's a lot more people interested than there are available teachers and means to give them the lessons. But when we start, basically the program is a set of 10 lessons that are one-to-one with a teacher, and they're given the same time every week, and the student, has to promise that they will come in and regularly attend, and there's an element of mutual respect there that's required. And honestly, sometimes we have folks coming in who are having serious coping troubles, and we understand that. And we've had situations where the state changes, they lose a family member, and they have to stop, or they have a medical issue that comes up and they have to stop. And we do that. We put them on hold. Sometimes we restart them again when they come back. But it's basically 10 lessons. The guitar isn't the easiest thing in the world. People have said to me, so you're going to do this with one of the hardest instruments to play. Well, the goal is not to turn you into Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan. The goal is to just have you comfortable with the instrument, learn how to use the instrument to generate simple, basic music, learn how to go onto the internet and identify good resources for songs and how to read that material and use that material, and basically put your feet on the first steps of the journey that you'll have with the guitar. We give the student a loaner guitar so they can take home and practice, and they bring that with them. And at the end of 10 lessons, if they've been studious enough to continue, they get a free guitar and a kit with various accessories, and that's really a reward for doing something that sometimes pulls people way out of their comfort zone.
Now, who provides the guitars? And I hear feedback. I'm not sure why I'm feeding back.
Are you feeding back or am I feeding back?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because feedback is really good in rock music, So it's a question, and all right, it's a great question. One of the ways we get this is we raise money. We raise money. It costs $200 per student. We have a very good relationship with some very large national music distribution groups. So we get the instruments and the equipment at basically, a wholesale rate. I don't think the organization would be possible without that, because, when you talk about hundreds of guitars a year, it's great that there's actually a large company, shipping them out and making sure we get them on time. The thing is, it does cost $200 per person, and I have a target of $2,000 a year. I mean, that's our nominal goal. Occasionally, we do get donations of new instruments, new acoustic guitars, and so if we can get an acoustic guitar of about $200 value, that's perfect. That's we can use that, and we've done that very frequently. We've been very lucky to have local companies and local musicians, in fact, donate new equipment to us, and that goes right to the students. That's sort of the easiest route. We also take cash donations because it's very important to keep this running. It's very, very, very streamlined. There's no expenses at the chapter level. We basically send all of our money up, and we get the guitars back. We have a link that we've put on the show here for donations. We try to make it as easy as possible. I will drive to somebody's house and accept a cash or check if you want to contact me. The other thing is there we go. The other thing that we do is we do take donations of any music equipment at all, and we've had a lot of luck with that as well. People will donate electric guitars. We don't give electric guitars to the students because then we have to find an amplifier and everything, and we have to find a new home for them when they get kicked out of the old home for making too much noise. But the thing we do is we will take that equipment and we will sell it, and we will sell it to raise cash, and that will go directly into getting the other equipment. And so I've received trombones, I've received electric guitars, I've received amplifiers and things like that. And so, these are all things that that really help the program. Sometimes we can use them ourselves. We actually have a band that we've put together with teachers and some of the vet students, and we go out and we play. I'll tell you more about that a little bit later. But as I said, our target is $2,000 a year. Sometimes I'll get a guitar donated, and it will be like a $400 acoustic guitar, and that puts me in a very difficult position, because I have this $400 guitar. I don't want to give it to a vet, because then their guitar is twice as good as the other vet, and they're gonna get upset. The other vet, but I can convert that into cash and buy two $200 guitars and get two vets going. So this is a problem I like to have, if you think about it. It's sort of helping veterans, 6 strings at a time, we like to say.
Are you a volunteer?
Oh yeah, we are all volunteers. I'm actually a badged VA volunteer, and we do that for two reasons. One is that we are working with people who oftentimes are in counseling, and because of that, there are privacy issues and whatnot. And so we want to make sure that the people who are working in the organization with the vets are trained properly, have gotten their shots, and have gone through the VA system to be fully vetted, so to speak. Um, and nobody takes any money. And in fact, when we occasionally do have a teacher who teaches music professionally, we don't have any in Providence, but we have some across the country. We're very clear that there should be no conflict of interest. You can't teach these people afterwards. So don't use this as a way of setting that up, and everybody understands that. So that's why we have VA badged volunteers, and we are also on site at VA facilities, and so that's another important factor there.
That's awesome. I think people don't necessarily realize that when it comes to music, and this is true whether you're learning to play guitar or if you are an older individual with advanced dementia or if you're somebody who has had a stroke, music actually functions in a different part of your brain. So individuals maybe who have had a stroke and have aphasia, meaning they're not able to talk, are sometimes able to sing, and it's an unusual phenomenon. But I know someone who had had multiple strokes, couldn't speak a word, but could sing hymns. When the music was played, she could play, sing hymns. Individuals with dementia, you put a set of headphones on and have the music play, and all of a sudden, it's almost as though they're young again because it's activating a different part of the brain than what we traditionally use to to process information and communicate. The other interesting thing is, we always talk about my music and what is my music. And research shows the music that you most identify with is usually the music that's popular between the ages of when you were 18 to 23. Obviously we develop our own tastes as we age, but usually my music is what played between 18 and 23. And you know what? You might have a household that you grew up in, and 18 to 23, you were listening to the music of, the 20s. That could also make that, your sound. So for the individuals who participate, is there any cost, and where do they sign up if they want to go on this if they want to participate in your program?
Well, it's all no cost. There's no cost at all. The one requirement we have is that they are veterans. Okay. I've actually had active duty people ask me if they could participate, and I've asked them to wait. Just simply because that would be just far too many more people to work with. So it is indeed completely free. What we do is we recommend that they get in touch with their local. Well, first of all, I ask them to just drop me a line on my email, which is ri.providence@guitarsforvets.org. And then I find out where they live. And if there is a chapter that's closest to them, I send them in that direction. There is there we go. There is a national web page. And so anybody who's interested, and oftentimes we have people who, for example, are local during part of the year, and then another part of the year they go, say, to Florida or Arizona or something like that. You can go onto that website and you can find a chapter that's near you. And if you put in any geographic location in the United States, you'll see a map, and you'll see, are there local chapters near you? Are there affiliated drop-off sites? For example, we have a program where we will have local either luthiers, who are those who repair guitars, right, or music stores. will sometimes act as a drop-off site for donations, which can be a terrific thing for us too. And they're listed as well. So there's a contact on there, and you just go right to them. And most of the times it's a person just like me, and they have, every place is different, but they have their own processes. So if it's local, we tell them to go get in touch with Paul Santilli. I CC Paul, and Paul works with them. Oftentimes, it's a great way of just basically touching base with the vet as well, and just making sure everything is on track. If there are any other services that they could take advantage of. So we look at it as kind of an entry point into a whole support system as well.
That's really cool. And are the groups taught in virtually, or are they taught like in a location? How is that handled in the age of COVID to keep everybody safe?
Well,
and how does that all work?
Well, have you got a few minutes to talk about it? So let me just say that ideally they're one-on-one. Okay. One of the things I wanted to add was, in addition to the 10 lessons, and once the 10 lessons are done, we have what we call the 11th session. And that's something we do once a week, where anybody who's graduated can come in and play in a big group lesson. And we go through and we, pick some songs that they may know, or some new songs that they don't know, and we'll play together. And the great thing about that is it's another way that folks can interact with each other. And I've had vets of all different ages who are interacting with each other, giving each other tips, because they are all on their journey. They're all learning. Some folks take lessons with teacher after that point. Most folks have found a couple of online set of lessons on YouTube that they've found have been really helpful. Let me tell you, there's a lot of lessons on YouTube, and some of them are great, and some of them are like, wow, this person is on Mars or something. So we do that. We try to do that regularly, and we've had 5-6 people. I will invite local musicians to come in too and give us some tips. We had Mark Cutler come in, who is a friend of mine, who has been playing around Rhode Island all of his life. Is a wonderful teacher and guitar player. And every time I play with him, I learn something new. And he came in and he was talking about songwriting, because that's one of his current projects is going out and working with groups of just musicians and non-musicians and writing songs together. So that's kind of a group thing we do, and that's one of the things that the Vet Center finds the most important. It's another way of just bringing people in. And so, if that answers your question, no, you did ask about virtual. So in the age of COVID, let me give you a little background. As I said, I started in 2018 here. The Brockton Center, where I had started working, actually shut down. The teachers there were no longer able to teach, and that went into mothballs, so to speak. But in 2019, we helped start a chapter in Springfield, Mass, and we started a chapter in Norwich, Connecticut. So those are sort of two of the closest to Rhode Island. And in 2020, during COVID, I started the Boston chapter with the Boston Vet Center, and that was all done by Zoom. My first Zoom student was a fellow who was retired Army. Now he was a first responder in Boston during COVID, and we would do Zoom once a week, and he was a fantastic guy. We taught each other how to teach and learn over the guitar over Zoom. And when he graduated, he actually helped me train up a couple of other teachers. And now Boston has 2 teachers, and they're running the program live now, but they also do things over Zoom. And the latest thing that I've done is this year we're restarting the Brockton chapter, and that's going to be at the Brockton Vet Center. And we have 2 teachers lined up there. We have a bunch of loaner guitars lined up there, and they should start any day now. And so anybody who's in any of those areas, feel free again to contact me, and I will hook them up with the right person. The way I look at it, we're just, when I started, there was nothing in New England except 1 or 2, and now we've got 5. So that's great. I'd like to have even more.
That means more people that can be helped.
Absolutely. I mean, every one of these groups is reaching out to more people. Geographically, it's just not possible to travel that far. The other thing that happened during COVID, which was a really good thing, is we did break down the stigma of teaching over the web. I personally know some teachers who have been teaching over the web for 10 years, and they have students around the world. And they, it's a challenge. It's different. You can't reach over and move people's fingers like you can face to face. But we actually, as an organization, started what we called the cyber chapter. And there are people, all over the country who are very far physically from any vet center or VA hospital or CBOC, and this is a way to reach them, and that's just gone great. It's one of the things I take pride in is, what did you do during COVID? Well, I started the Boston chapter of Guitars for Vets and taught 2 vets remotely, and it's going great. So
that is awesome. Yeah. And so, are you a 501c3?
We are. Yes, we are.
How can people support you?
There's, there are many things that we need, but first and foremost is funding, right? As I said, we have a goal of $2,000 a year. If we get more, we can teach more vets. If we get more guitars, we can teach more vets. It costs $200 a vet, again, as I said, to provide them with the guitar at the end. We need people to help with many things: promotion, media outreach. I'm the worst promoter ever. We need help with fundraising. Oftentimes it just takes somebody going to, their local organization. If they're an Elk, and say, hey, I know these people, and the Elks gave us money last year. Every little bit helps. The way I describe it to people, if it costs $200 to provide a guitar, like $5 will be like some strings, and $20 might be the frets or maybe some of the tuning pegs or things like that, and we build these guitars one step at a time. We also need help with organizing events and with little things like guitar maintenance. And, as I said, sometimes we get musical instruments in and we will resell them on Craigslist, and we actually have a few electric guitars on Craigslist. Go to Craigslist and Google, guitars for vets, guitar sale. And we've got what happens is they come in and we have volunteer luthiers, guitar technicians who will trick them out, tune them up, get them as good as, not as good as new, because like me, they have some wrinkles, but they play great. And we put them out, and we're not trying to make any profit. We're trying to just, sell them for, a fair value. And in fact, somebody once bought a guitar from us, and he actually paid more than I asked, because he was, he liked the idea of the program, and he kicked in a little extra money. He says, this is the first time I bought a guitar on Craigslist for more than somebody asked me for. So, as I said, we also accept donations. if people donate a new guitar of about a $200 value, that's fantastic. We just turn that right around. We've been very lucky in that. We once got a donation of 14 guitars from one
Nice.
organization, and we split that with the Springfield chapter, and that basically bootstrapped that whole chapter. If people know a local music store, go to the music store and say, "Have you ever heard of Guitars for Vets? There's this guy doing great work." Ask them if they'd be willing to donate, equipment, things like strings, tuners, capos. These just we go through them, and so all these things help. They could become a donation center where they can have people drop off instruments there. These are all things we can use help with, and if you're interested, again, contact me, and we'd love to talk about it. Not only here, but throughout New England, as I said. And that's how we got the person who's running Boston. He wanted to donate a guitar. I drove up to Salem, Mass, and picked up the guitar. We kept in touch, and he wanted to start his own chapter up in the northern area. And that can be a very long and difficult thing. And I ended up saying to him, "Hey, Mike, you're not that far from Boston. How'd you like to run this? And it's already up and running." And so that's how you grow. You grow by building a network of caring people who, everyone can give a little bit. And what do they say? Many hands make the work light, right?
Absolutely. And Cheryl just posted, I love this. I'm going to send this information to my Elks Lodge right now. I think this is an amazing organization. And good morning to you too, Christine Andrews.
Thank you so much. I also wanted to say one of the things we're doing that's a little different. This is in the post-COVID days now. Before COVID, I would go out to a veteran event and stand up a table and tell people about the various things, and that's usually a very lonely and cold type of thing to do. And money would dribble into the cup, but after COVID, we received some very nice instrument donations that, and specifically the organization said, "Well, we don't want you to sell these. We don't want you to use them." And so what we did is we put together a band, and we have the Rhode Island Guitar for Vets Travel and Road Show band, right? And we tack all stars in there sometimes. By now we've had quite a few vets who are comfortable playing guitars, and they actually go out with us and they have a great time, and we've played a couple of shows. We did a show during Memorial Day. We did a show at a film festival, and we have a show coming up at Trinity Rep. Trinity Rep has been very good. They wanted to increase their veteran outreach, and so on November 6th, which is going to be a Waterfire dedication to vets, we actually are going to perform at one of their Vet Voices shows. Now, I think it's all sold out, but that's just a first step in many more that we want to do there. And in fact, the November 11th on Veterans Day, in the evening of November 11th, we're going to be playing at a place called Mediator Stage. It's an open mic, will be the feature act. It's in South Providence, 50 Rounds Avenue on the Providence-Cranston border, 50 Rounds Avenue. And we'll be playing there as sort of their featured act. And again, that's the first time that we're working there. And this is a way of bringing our organization out in front of people, working with some vets to do some really great stuff. I mean, it took me years before I could go on stage, and here these guys just jump right in and have fun doing it. And so you want you want to have fun doing things, or else it becomes just another job, right?
Exactly. And you mentioned guys, but you
Oh yeah,
teach men and women,
I do.
veterans.
I call everybody guys. I'm that age, right?
Just want to make sure because I
I don't
do
like using the word gals. I think it can be construed as
exactly. Yes,
right.
I just want to make sure that everybody's clear.
Folk. Yes, we've in Warwick we have had 3 female students, one of which right? Rachel, you work with Rachel at URI. She was a student. She was my first female student. In Boston, I taught one female student as well. So and the interesting thing there is that we do have guitars of different sizes too. So some women have smaller hands. Some men have really big hands. We have to use a classical guitar because the neck is wider and the frets are farther apart. And some people have limited use of fingers, and so we adapt what we teach to that. I have some friends who are music teachers who have done a lot of work with people who have disabilities or people who are actually autistic, and I tap them for clues on how to adapt the instrument to people's capabilities.
Very cool. Well, I love what it is that you're doing. I've heard some great feedback. Yes, our mutual friend Rachel went through your program, and she's super excited about getting the word out about the organization. So the Vet Center is absolutely amazing. They've been on several of our shows before. They're going to, in all likelihood, be on one of our shows in November. And I like that it really is about connecting people with something that will help them to heal and to get through some of the traumas that occur when we are a country that has been at war for a very long time, and what it's like to come home.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you're helping our men and women come home.
Oh, well, thank you. And I do want to tell the people in your audience, because your audience is your show is targeted towards people of certain age groups. You're never too old to learn something new. Some of the first students I had were Vietnam era vets, and this is something they always wanted to do, and they always wanted to, just never got around to it. And it sometimes just takes getting up and doing something. And so there's lots of opportunities there. Feel free to call, and maybe I can help find somebody to help you to learn as well. As I said, there's a lot that can be. You mentioned that music does come from a different part of the brain. It does. Music and speech are related, but singing and speech are not necessarily the same part of your brain. One is playing back your tape recorder, another one's figuring out what to record in the first place. And we've seen, I've done work with autistic kids. There are non-verbal autistic kids who are able to sing amazingly well. So this is definitely true.
Yeah. So I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing about Guitars for Vets. And everybody, make sure that you reach out to Dave if you want to participate. And again, he's looking for volunteers on social media. So what you can do to help him is hit the share button right now. Hit the like, share it out to any community groups you're in. Like, let people know. Email Dave if you want to play. If you're a veteran and you want to learn how to play. If you're
a veteran and already know how to play.
Yeah, and you want to teach, or you want to just come jam with everybody.
Yeah,
and
love
if people wanted to say, have you guys come play at an event?
Yeah.
Would you guys come out to do that?
I would. For example, when we played at the film festival, the folks at the film festival were adamant that musicians should be paid, and I think that's a very important thing. And so they gave us basically what they would give a band, and that was a donation, and that actually paid for a complete guitar. So yeah, we would love to play. If you're an organization that has the means to donate directly, that would be terrific. If you're an organization that is using the event as a fundraiser, and you'd be willing to, it's we don't consider it a zero-sum game, right? We consider everything, we all win-win. So we do try to get, either put out our hat, or if anybody has a helmet, I would like to have a helmet that I could pass around. So we're looking for a helmet. The cooler the better. Yeah, we would love to. And if it's just an event where we can get some good outreach and good media exposure, we're happy to do that. As I said, it's sometimes like herding cats, getting all of my friends and vets together to do it, but it's something we love to do, and we'd be happy to play. And anybody who has a really big venue, I'll come out.
That is awesome.
And I have to say that I'm really proud of the vets who play with us. As I said, it took me decades before I had the nerve to go on stage, and I guess it's these guys have been through everything, so going on stage in front of people is nothing compared to what they've had to endure, and they just have a great time. I mean, they had the best time, and that's really one of the great rewards of doing it.
Perfect. Thank you so much for coming on today, Dave. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Lots
of fun.
Yes, and we'll come back again sometime, and give you some more regale you with more stories.
Perfect. That is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, everybody, the holiday season is coming up. You're having your Christmas parties. Give these guys a call to come play at your Christmas parties. Nothing's stopping them from playing at a corporate event. That would be really cool. Your company can support them. They can get the word out. You can support veterans. You can support veterans who are trying to heal, and it'll make your corporate party more fun. So why not? So anyway, guys, I'm really glad that you stayed and you watched this whole video. I hope that you have hit share, because this was just a blast. And yes, Cheryl, he does have a Facebook page, and we will drop a link to that right in the chat, so that way you will have that. And make sure, everybody, that you come back on Thursday next week at 9 o'clock. We're going to have lots of fun at the Virtual Senior Resource Fair. It's our 2nd annual. All right, everybody. I hope you have a great week. Be well.
If you liked this video, please follow us on social media and subscribe on YouTube. For more information, visit rielderinfo.com or call 401-585-0509. If you have any questions, email deb@rielderinfo.com.